Blog writing, tools to streamline the process. Your blog isn't marketing content, it's an always-on SDR. In B2B, your blog is often the first sales conversation prospects have with you, long before they reply to a cold email or pick up a call. When 71% of B2B buyers are consuming blog content during the buying journey, consistency and relevance stop being nice to have and start becoming pipeline infrastructure. The operational problem is simple. Writing takes real time. In 2024, the average blog post took 3 hours, 48 minutes to produce, and that's before strategy, SME review, SEO checks, and distribution are even in the mix. If publishing relies on heroic effort, you'll ship sporadically, and sporadic content doesn't compound. The fix isn't try harder, it's build a system. The right stack across planning, SEO, drafting, editing, publishing, and attribution makes your blog repeatable and measurable, so your team can ship posts that support outbound sequences, sales enablement, and meeting generation without burning out. Why streamlining blog writing directly impacts pipeline. If you want sales leadership to care about blog ops, connect it to outcomes the same way you would for an outsourced sales team or outbound sales agency. Volume, conversion, and velocity. Blogging. B2B marketers generate about 67% more leads than those who don't, and that lift becomes meaningful only when you can publish consistently and target the right problems. The competitive context matters too. Roughly 82% of companies use content marketing, which means publish something is no longer a differentiator. Publishing the right thing, fast, on-brand, and aligned to your ICP is. That's exactly what a streamlined toolchain and workflow gives you. For SalesHive clients, we see the biggest wins when content and outbound collaborate instead of competing. A strong blog engine supports cold calling services, cold email outreach, and SDR follow-ups with credibility and education, turning "Who are you?" conversations into "This is exactly what we're dealing with" conversations. Start with workflow, not tools. Standardize the brief. Most blog chaos is actually brief chaos. When topics, angles, and CTAs live in someone's head, or worse, in Slack threads, writers fill in gaps with generic takes, and SDRs can't reliably use the finished post in Outbound. Before you add new platforms, lock in one standard brief template that every post starts with. A strong brief creates alignment across marketing and sales. Who the post is for, the exact problem it solves, the primary keyword, the point of view, proof sources, and how the SDR team will deploy it. This is also where you prevent the common mistake of ad hoc topics that never build coverage of core ICP pain points or rank for high-intent searches. Treat production like a pipeline. Idea intake, brief approved, draft created, SME review, edit, SEO QA, publish, repurpose, and measure. Once those stages are visible in a single system of record, you can choose tools that remove bottlenecks instead of buying overlapping software that nobody uses. A practical blog tool stack and what each layer should do. Think in layers, not logos. You need planning tools to manage the editorial calendar, SEO tools to validate demand and intent, drafting tools to accelerate first versions, editing tools to enforce clarity, a CMS that makes publishing easy, and analytics that prove revenue impact. When any layer is missing, work stalls, usually at review, publishing, or "we don't know if this worked." Here's the simplest way to sanity check your stack. Can a post move from brief to published without switching contexts 10 times? And can a sales leader see exactly how content influences meetings? If not, you're likely experiencing the classic tool sprawl with no process issue. Multiple platforms, unclear owners, and status updates handled by DMs instead of workflow. Use structured decisions where structure helps. A lightweight comparison table keeps stakeholders aligned on what each category is responsible for and prevents you from overbuying before you've stabilized the workflow. Use AI for the heavy lifting and keep humans for the sharp edges, point of view, proof, and the customer language that actually converts. Where AI fits, faster drafts without generic, off-brand content. AI can meaningfully accelerate blog production when you use it to compress the messy middle, outlines, first drafts, title variations, intros, and meta descriptions. Teams report a 61% productivity boost with AI writing tools and blog posts taking about 40% less time to produce. That's the difference between publishing when we can and publishing on a real cadence. The failure mode is letting AI write everything and calling it done. That creates the most common quality problem in B2B content. Generic posts that sound like every other vendor, introduce unverified claims, and erode trust with buyers who are doing real due diligence. Your governance should be explicit. No fabricated stats, no invented customer quotes, and no product capability claims without review. The best approach is simple and scalable. AI produces a draft that matches the approved brief. Then human editors and SMEs refine accuracy, nuance, and voice. This is also where we see the biggest alignment benefits for an SDR agency or B2B sales agency. Posts become specific enough that SDRs can confidently use them in cold email follow-ups and call talk tracks. Design around the bottleneck, SME review and feedback loops. In most B2B teams, writing isn't the slow step. SME review is. When sales leaders and product experts are busy, drafts get stuck, timelines slip, and publishing becomes chaotic. The solution is to build workflows around the slowest step, fixed review windows, async feedback, and a clear approve or reject with edits process. You don't need SMEs to write, you need them to talk. Capture their best insights through short interviews, call recordings, and transcripts. Then turn that raw material into drafts. This reduces the burden from hours of writing to minutes of reviewing, which is far more realistic for quota-carrying leaders and managers running a cold-calling team. This is also how you prevent the blog and outbound are separate mistake. When SME input is pulled from real sales conversations, your posts naturally address objections and decision criteria that show up in B2B cold calling services and outbound sequences, making the blog an enablement asset, not a marketing artifact. Measure what matters, from traffic to meetings and opportunities. Measuring blog success on traffic alone is a fast way to lose budget. Page views don't tell you whether content is generating pipeline, supporting pay-per-appointment lead generation, or accelerating deals. Instead, track the full chain: content engagement, conversions, influence meetings, and opportunities touched by content. The operational unlock is integrating blog engagement into your CRM or marketing automation platform so sales can act on it. If the only place performance lives is analytics dashboards, SDRs will ignore it. If it shows up as signals and triggers inside the same systems they use every day, it becomes actionable. That's how content starts informing follow-up priorities, personalization, and timing, especially for an outsourced sales team running high-volume outreach. A practical step is to build a content sales enablement library that tags posts by persona, objection, and funnel stage, and then standardize how reps reference them. When a cold email agency or sales development agency can consistently deploy the right article at the right moment, your blog starts behaving like a scalable sales asset rather than a passive channel. Next steps: build a lean, high-output blog engine that sales can use. If you want a blog that drives meetings, start by mapping your production flow end-to-end and assigning one owner per stage. Then rationalize your stack. Keep one system of record, cut overlapping tools, and reinvest in what removes bottlenecks, usually SEO validation, drafting speed, and review throughput. Remember, only about 30% of B2B marketers feel they have the right content tech and use it properly, which means execution quality is a real competitive edge. Pilot improvements in short cycles. Run a 90-day test where you standardize briefs, set SME review windows, and use AI only where it accelerates without risking accuracy. Then measure time to publish, cadence, and conversion lift. The goal is not to build a massive content machine, it's to build a reliable one that your revenue team can count on. When you're ready to connect content to outbound, we focus on where the handoff often breaks. As a B2B sales outsourcing partner and outbound sales agency, SalesHive uses your best posts as fuel for cold email and cold calling services, building sequences that reference real insights, not generic links. So content and outreach work together to create booked meetings.